Now, speaking of mornings, hands up, how many of you exercise regularly of a morning? Oh, fascinating. So you all prefer exercise in the evening. That's great. Look, that's fine too. However, if you exercise in the morning, your brain works better throughout the day, particularly in the 2 hours immediately following the exercise. So if you anticipate a challenge or a meeting or a debate with your spouse, then go for a brisk walk or a run around the block and you'll perform measurably better. Because I could give you countless studies showing how aerobic exercise, that's walking, jogging, skipping, cycling, swimming, rowing, anything that gets you breathing more heavily, improves academic performance, memory, creativity and overall cognitive functioning in the immediate and the long term. As little as, wait for this is absolutely mind-blowing information, as little as 20 minutes of exercise every second day cuts your lifetime risk of dementia in half, and it reduces your risk of Alzheimer's by over 60%. Now bump that up to 20 minutes of exercise every day. Remember, that was only every second day, but exercise every day, only 20-30 minutes, and you also cut your risk of a stroke by 57%. Now that's wild. That is such a massive benefit for so little effort. I mean, I wouldn't have a medication to give you that could give you such a big benefit. So, let's go back to our wild animals. Remember how I said the wild animals had the bigger brains? Well, wild animals move a lot more than their domestic counterparts. Take the humble sea squirt. In fact, only animals that move, only living things that move even need a brain, which is why I want to mention the sea squirt. Now, the sea squirt is a tiny jellyfish-like animal with a simple spinal cord and a 300-neuron brain. Now, just for comparison, the human brain has 100 billion neurons. The sea squirt has 300. But nonetheless, when the sea squirt larva is born, in the first 12 hours of its life, it's swimming around in the shallows looking for a nice piece of coral on which to put down its roots. And when it's safe and securely attached, what does our sea squirt do? It eats its own brain. Why? Because it doesn't need it anymore. It doesn't move again for the rest of its life. So every day that we don't move, we may as well slump down into the lounge, slice a piece of our brain and have it for dinner. And it would be painless too, because the brain has no pain fibres. So once you've drilled a hole through your skull, you can happily pick pieces out of your brain and not feel a thing. But that's probably too much information. Look, the point is, I know we have overly busy lives. And it's really hard and intimidating to even fit 20-30 minutes of exercise in our day. But just remember one more thing. If all you want to do is pick up your mood or clear your head, 12 minutes of exercise will do the job. Now, 12 minutes isn't long enough to slash inches off our waist and lose massive amounts of weight. But 12 minutes is long enough to boost the level of the feel-good chemicals in our brain. That's serotonin, oxytocin, noradrenaline, endorphins. Yum. You want those chemicals floating around because they make you feel great. And all it takes is 12 minutes. So next time you're feeling grumpy and grotty and just move for 12 minutes, you'll feel so much better. In fact, I've had people who say, I feel so good after that 12 minutes. I think to myself, I may as well do another 12 minutes. And then you've got your daily dosing. So that was our second point. Be good to your heart, and it's also good for your brain. Third principle is use it or lose it. Now, I know you've heard that before, but I can't emphasise enough how much the use it or lose it principle applies to every single function of our brain, from studying to socialising to sex. And yes, our brain is the largest sexual organ. And I know that some of the best things you can do are learn a foreign language, a musical instrument, an art, a craft, a skill, a sport, but it doesn't have to be anything complicated. To really boost our brain, all you need to do is change your routine. Do things differently, actively learn new things and give yourself ongoing challenges. But it doesn't have to be hugely complicated. For instance, just take a normal daily routine and tweak it a bit, do it differently. For instance, brush your teeth with the opposite hand to usual. Or use your mouse, your computer mouse, with the opposite hand to usual. Start to use your left hand a bit. Or take a shower with your eyes closed. Regularly, this is all boosting your brain because it takes you out of doing things in autopilot. Regularly speak to people you don't know. Go to work via a different route to usual. Don't always go places the very same way. Find a new word in the dictionary at the start of each week and weave it into your conversation. Even just listening to music that's different to what you're in the habit of listening to will boost your brain. Now, if you're sitting there going, I'm so time poor, I can't fit it in, you can do it all in one hit. Find someone you've never met before. Take them home via a different route. Invite them to have a shower with you, with your eyes closed, so it's fine. Use your new word in conversation with them and have weird music playing in the background. Your brain will love it. One more wild thing you can do to boost your brain is simply kick off your shoes and get barefoot. Whenever we walk barefoot, our brain gets so much stimulation through the soles of our feet, which actually keeps us strong and steady as we age and helps us keep our balance. It's another myth that we get frail and need a walking stick and lose our balance as we age. It's because our feet have been cocooned in shoes for 60, 70, 80, 90 years of our life. So kick them off and start to treat your feet to different surfaces. Sand, grass, swishy mud, pebbles, water. And I take no responsibility for cut feet or bindies or bruises. You do this at your own risk after examining the terrain. So I could sum up use it or lose it in one sentence. Stimulate your soul. Stimulate the soles of your feet and stimulate your soul in here. And how you stimulate your soul here is get out there. Get exploring, get learning, get excited, get passionate, get stimulated, get wild. Now, I promised you 5 principles. The last one is stay socially active. Our brain is a social beast. It loves company. Every time we get socially active, it stimulates our brain in so many different ways, which brings me back to what we did at the start of this talk. Remember I got you to pay each other a compliment? And I said I won't tell you till the end because that'll keep you in suspense. Why? Because every time we are rewarded, every time we have a pleasurable experience, our brain releases chemicals called neurotransmitters, and 2 of these neurotransmitters are dopamine and acetylcholine. And these 2 neurotransmitters are also essential in learning. So anytime you want to learn something, if you're enjoying it, if you've just had a pleasurable time or a pleasurable experience, you will learn so much better than if it's boring and drudgery. So that's why I wanted you to have some of these chemicals on board right at the start so you would learn and remember more of what I said. And even the Bible backs me up on this. It says, a faithful friend is the medicine of life. And I couldn't give you a better medicine than that. So get out there and get wild. Thank you, you've been a great audience.